In the Big Rock Canyon Mountain, there's a land that's fair and bright, where the handouts grow on bushes and you sleep out every night, where the boxcars are all empty and the sun shines every day. The birds and the trees and the lemonade springs and the bluebird sings in the Big Rock Canyon Mountains. In the Big Rock Canyon Mountains, I'm good.
You got it? All right.
10, you can walk right out again just as soon as you are in. There ain't no shorthand shovels, no axes, saws, or picks. Well, I'm gonna stay where you sleep all day, and they hung the jerk who invented work, and I'll see you all this coming fall. The Big Rock Canyon Mountains. Woo! All right, on that note, I gotta hit the slopes, Dad.
All right, everybody.
Good luck with your podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Parker James Howell there. You heard a lot about him in the past because you know the impact his schooling has had on me and the business's story and everything else. So he and his mother, my wife, Michelle, we've been hanging out all week up here in Telluride. You can see coonskin coming down the back end of the mountain here, and it's just great fun, great fun. And I couldn't think of a better place to host this segment on the story cycle system because we are now in we're in week 7, but we're actually talking about the 6th step of the story cycle process. And that 6th step is called Enter the Mentor. And this is where you take great care in humanizing your brand. Meaning, you know, we've got to start personalizing those features and those functions that we all talk about, and even the benefits that come from those features and functions. We've got to get out of our left brain, literal thinking, and into our right brain, because we want to create this personality that truly sells to the heart of our customers. And as we all know, is story gets us out of our heads and into the hearts of our audiences, because that's where they make their purchase decisions. And then they'll justify that decision with their head. So today, I'm going to focus on the 3 things I want you to do in this 6th step of the story cycle system. Now, have you ever heard of Tenzing Norgay? Tenzing Norgay was the Sherpa who helped Edmund Hillary be the first person on top of Mount Everest. So Tenzing was one of the first 2 people on top of Mount Everest. And without his effort, this was in May of 1953, by the way. Tenzing had spent almost 20 years trying to get there with different groups, and it was Edmund Hillary that first got them there. So I figured that that was most appropriate, being in the beautiful San Juan Mountains here in Colorado. And why that's important is your brand is the Sherpa to your customer, helping them climb the mountains that they want to climb. You know, without Tenzing Norgay, Edmund Hillary would have never made it. So in the story cycle system, you've heard me say that your brand, is not the center of the story. Your customer is the center of the story. Your brand plays the mentor, the guide, or the Sherpa, which, by the way, is the most important role in all storytelling, because without that guide, that Sherpa, then our protagonists never get what they're out to get. And so I want you to start thinking about your customers as the protagonists in your journey. They are your Edmund Hillary, and you are their Tenzing Norgay to help them get what they want to get. So here are 3 ways, or 3 things that I want you to think about now when you are focusing on the humanity and the personality around your brand. So first and foremost, ask yourself, what is the emotional promise that you deliver day in and day out when anybody is interacting with your brand? Now, I mean anybody. So from your leadership, emotionally, what do they take away from being a part of your leadership team? Your employees, emotionally, what do they take away by being a part of a very important team to help the brand on its journey succeed? So what do they take away emotionally? And then certainly your customers. What is that emotional promise that everybody takes away? And I want it to be consistent across the board. What is that emotional promise? Now, last week, I was telling you about a brand I was working with up in Toronto, Auto Prêt. That's the best French I can do. This is a car dealership, a used car dealership that sells to folks with credit problems, but they do it in a different fashion. They use the car as the vehicle to help people fix their credit. Well, what their emotional promise is simply peace. They want that to be imbued throughout their organization, from their leadership, that they've got peace of mind that they're doing the right thing for their customers, for their employees, that they've got this peace of mind that not only are they doing the right thing, but they've got the peace of mind of having a very vibrant job. They know their career is going to be around because this is what the brand stands for. And then certainly for their customers, to get them back on their feet again, to help them start finding peace of mind in their own finances, and giving them a car that they can count on, and they have this peace of mind across the board. So real emotional point that they want to get across in every single touch point of the brand is peace of mind. So what is yours? How can you sum up your one word that signifies what people get from you? And here's a simple way of doing it. Think of 9 different descriptors for your brand, one-word descriptors for your brand. And one way to do this is really break it up into 3s. So think of 3 descriptors that talk about operationally, how does the company function and in what intent. Number 2 is deliver. What is your product offering or service? Give me 3, or come up with 3 definers for your own delivery. And then customer service. What are 3 adjectives, adverbs, just words that describe how you approach customer service? From these 9, see if you can't find a theme throughout, and within that, you may find your emotional promise, one word within those 9s, or they may come together to deliver you another one. But it's really important because we want to start transitioning your features and functions into humanity and really, truly creating personality around it. Now, number 2. So once you figure out what your number 1 word is, your emotional promise, ask yourself, what is the gift? It's not what you make, but it's what you make happen in people's lives. So what is the gift that you give to them? In my world with Business as Story, the gift that I try to give to everybody using this process is simply that superpower story, literally reigniting within you a super persuasive, more motivational, more inspirational, able to connect with people and move them to action. To me, that's a real superpower. And autopreparte, theirs is transport. So think about it. They literally are helping people through selling them these vehicles transport themselves away from this life of not the greatest credit, but start working on their credit. Also gives them a car that they can very much be proud of. So they're transporting their ego to a sense of saying, look, I'm getting my feet back underneath me. And I'm actually, because of this is the gift that they're giving me. They're transitioning me out of my old way of life into a new, more prosperous way of life. And then the transport of delivering a great car that gets them from point A to point B. So they're not just a used car dealership working with, subprime buyers, but they are folks that are truly helping transport people into a higher level of their own being. So what do you do? What is it that you do? What is your gift? If mine's a story, a superpower of storytelling and reigniting that within you, what do you make happen? And have some fun with this. What do you make happen in the hearts and minds of your audiences? And how do you transport them? And what do you do to elevate them? And how can you find that wonderful little word in there that you can all aspire to as the gift that you really get, what you give your customers receive when they are using your product or service. So let me know if you have any questions along those lines. I'm going to just take a deep breath and look down here. Hi, Lisa. Great having you here. Pamela, hey, we're working with your group next week in Phoenix. We're going to get back down out of the mountains. In fact, we're leaving today. Forward to working with your group out there at Kai in Mesa. So let's move on to number 3. Now, number 3 is interesting. One of my favorite things. It used to be when you were doing brand story strategy and you're trying to help a brand really understand who they are and their personalities, we would ask stupid questions like, if you were a dog, what kind of dog would you be? If you were a wine, what kind of, if you were a magazine? And I never could quite figure out how that really got us to understanding what is the true personality that drives this company. And by the way, this is hugely important because how many websites and companies and brands do you work with that you go to and you see their personality is all over the board? They may look and sound like one thing online. As soon as they pick up the phone, they sound like something else. As soon as they show up for a presentation to you, it's all of a sudden like, who is this company? I mean, they look like Sybil. They've got a dozen different personalities coming through. Well, this is hugely important to understand what your personality is so that you can consistently express your personality to the world through all of your different channels. So I want you to ask yourself, what is your brand personality? And a way to do this is, the way we do it anyways, is we use famous Swiss psychologist Carl Jung's 12 personality archetypes, 12 basic personality archetypes. And you can find a link to that. I've got a slide share. I'll include that in the notes. I've got a slide share, or at least if you're around, if you can pull that up, our slide share deck that takes you through the 12 archetypes, the 12 personality archetypes that we all connect with in our lives. And so we use this process that's really very, very effective about helping a brand identify the number one most powerful, potent archetype what that is. And then sometimes they have one or two supporting archetypes. But this is hugely important because, again, it helps create a consistency in their message. They really start understanding the look, the feel, the tone of their content when they know what their personality is. Now, an example of this, because I'm a big ice cream fan, I guess it goes with my surroundings here, is you think about Haagen-Dazs versus Ben & Jerry's. Haagen-Dazs is a totally invented brand to be a premium label, to look like it comes from Europe. The name is completely made up, and it has very much of a lover archetype to it. I mean, it's there, it's expensive, it caresses you, goes in, it's delicious. Everything about the positioning of that is the lover archetype. Now, compare that to Ben & Jerry's. Exact same product, essentially. It's a commodity of ice cream. But what they have with Ben & Jerry's, theirs is very much of a jester archetype. Probably a jester archetype combined with a hero supported archetype, because they are very much of the activists. So they're out trying to make the world a better place through their ice cream, but they don't take themselves so seriously that they come off as snobbing. In fact, they come off quite the exact opposite. They have fun with their labeling, fun with their names. They aren't married or wedded to any one recipe. You see them always popping out with new stuff, but there's always a sort of social mission underlying what they do. So they, compared to Haagen-Dazs, the lover archetype, they're very much the jester archetype backed up with a supporting hero archetype. So my question to you is, what is your brand personality? Now, visit me over on SlideShare, and again, I'll put this link into the show notes. I'll take you through the 12 primary archetypes, and from there, one is your most type, your most powerful, and then maybe find one or two that you know still reside in your life and help support that particular archetype. Also, you can do all of this, of course, with our book, our DIY workbook that you can get online at businessstory.com. It's only $45. It takes you through the entire story cycle system to help you and story straight and really understand every element of what we've been talking about in these Facebook Live sessions. So thanks so much for being here. And again, if you're going to be around in 2 weeks in San Diego for Social Media Marketing World, that Wednesday, which I believe is March 22nd, I will be doing a Business of Story Marketing Workshop. 90 minutes, kicking off Social Media Marketing World. It'll be at noon on Wednesday in 2 weeks. So if you're over there, please come up to the stage, say hello, or connect with me afterwards. Would love to hear how your story is coming together. And how you can just craft and tell a compelling story that not only will grow your business, but will grow your people, because you'll give them a story that they can live into and prosper from. So that's it for me from Telluride. Let me scroll through this. If here, I'm happy to answer any questions. Thanks, Lisa, for posting the slide share. That'll really help you as you're going through and trying to figure out what your brand archetype. And I guess really the last thing I think I would say on this is that remember, it's always your audience that are the Edmund Hillarys of the world. They are all out trying to achieve something. And you want to be the most relevant, urgent, thoughtful brand that they go to help them get what they want out of life. So always place them at the center of their story and be their Sherpa. And that's what Chapter 6 of the Story Cycle System is all about. It gives you a chance to focusing on the personality and how you are equipped to help them climb the mountains that they're climbing. And then when you both arrive on top, it'll be an amazing thing. So thanks so much, Susan. Good stuff, Park. Looking forward to this. Oh, good. I'm glad you'll be out there, Susan. Suzanne, looking forward to it. All right. Well, without further ado, I guess I will close this show down, get packed up, and unfortunately, we have to leave this beautiful mountain today, heading back down to Phoenix, Arizona. Be out working in Washington, D.C. next week with generals from the Air Force, helping them with their Air Force story. So looking for that. And then the week after in San Diego. So next week, I'll be coming to you from actually a place in Western Virginia is one of the most beautiful settings for a conference you could possibly imagine. And I'll be coming to you live from there. So join me next week at the same time. It'll be 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And look forward to chatting with you. In the meantime, have a wonderful weekend and a terrific week ahead. Take care.